When it comes to youth volleyball, the final score? It's probably the least important result. Today, we're going to dive into a coach's real playbook, one that's not just about winning games, but about building strong, resilient, and passionate human beings.
Man, the legendary coach Marv Dunphy just nailed the soul of the game with this quote. Volleyball is like a ballet with 6 players moving as one. You can't just go off and do your own thing. Every single touch of the ball is a conversation, a moment of trust with your teammates. And that idea, reciprocity, is at the heart of everything we're going to talk about.
And that really gets to the core of it, right? A coach's ultimate job isn't just to churn out great players. It's to help shape great people. The court, that's the classroom. And the lessons you learn there, those are the ones that stick with you for life.
All right, so let's start with this foundational idea. We've got to see volleyball as something bigger than just a game. It's this incredible vehicle for personal growth. And the coach, well, the coach is the one holding the map.
I love this quote because it just totally flips the script on what a coach is. You're not the boss, you're the guide, you're the calm center in the middle of the storm, helping all these different personalities, all these different parts fit together and work in harmony. Okay, so that brings us to our first pillar, and this one is huge. You have to coach the person first, because before you ever get to the athlete, you have to support the individual human being standing in front of you. The volleyball development matrix breaks it down to these 4 core human needs. So, as a coach, you've got to ask yourself, are my players getting enough sleep? Are they eating well? Do they feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally? Do they feel like they actually belong on this team? And are we building them up? These are the non-negotiables. They're the foundation. And you know what builds or breaks that foundation? Communication. On one side, you've got calm, helpful feedback that fuels growth. But on the other, you have yelling for honest mistakes, which just creates fear. And I'm telling you, nothing will kill a kid's love for the game faster than being afraid to mess up.
And look, this isn't just some nice idea. It's a mandate from organizations like Volleyball Canada. A safe sport environment is a basic right for every athlete. As a coach, creating and protecting that space where players feel free to take risks, to fail, and to grow without fear, that's job number 1.
And hey, let's not forget this simple human touch, right? This quote from Arnie Ball says it all. Can you connect with your players on their level? Can you just share a laugh? That's not fluff. That connection is what builds the trust that makes all the other coaching possible.
All right, so once you've got the person taken care of, then, and only then, can we move on to our second pillar, building the athlete. This is all about the long-term physical journey.
So what's with this number, 70-30? This might be the single most important ratio in youth sports that you've never even heard of.
Here's what it is. The ideal split between training time and competition time. The long-term athlete development model is crystal clear on this. For every 10 hours an athlete spends in the sport, 7 of them should be practice, and only 3 should be actual competition. Why? Because the brain needs tons of repetition in a low-stakes environment to actually lock in new skills. If you're competing all the time, you're just sacrificing long-term growth for short-term wins. And this whole 70-30 idea fits into this bigger journey. An athlete's focus changes so much over time. It all starts with just making movement fun. Then they learn how to train. It's only way later that the focus shifts to competing and eventually training to win at the highest levels. If you push for wins too early, you're actually hurting their development down the road.
So what does smart training actually look like for these younger athletes? It's not that complicated, really. Focus on basic bodyweight stuff. Play games like tag, seriously. It develops speed and agility. And this is a big one. Get them to play other sports. It prevents burnout and builds a much more well-rounded athlete. Oh, and don't forget sleep. It's the best recovery tool there is, period.
Okay, now we finally get to the part that most people think of first. But you'll notice, it's actually our third pillar, teaching the player. This is where we get into the on-court skills and the nitty-gritty of volleyball.
Let's bring back the legend, Marv Dunphy, for a second. This quote is famous for a reason. It's like a secret code for effective coaching. What do you think he's really getting at here? What he means is so important. Your practice has to look like the game. Just passing a ball back and forth in a neat little line doesn't teach you how to handle a rocket of a serve in a real match. Skills have to be learned in context. Passed, then set, then hit. That's how the brain connects the dots, so the skills actually show up on game day. So let's break down a skill here, like blocking. The fundamentals are pretty straightforward, right? You're in a ready position, you extend both arms over the net, and you land balanced, ready to move. But just knowing the perfect form, well, that's only half the battle. Because honestly, all that perfect form is pretty much useless without the mental game. We're talking about reading the play. You could argue this is the single most important skill in all of volleyball. It's about seeing what's about to happen, reading the passer, the setter, the hitter, before the ball is even touched. Great players anticipate, they don't just react.
So when your players are out there trying to learn all this complicated stuff, how you correct them is everything. First, praise the effort. Did they go for it? Great. Second, use feed forward. Instead of dwelling on the past mistake, talk about what to do next time. Third, show them, don't just tell them. And finally, always keep it positive. Create a space where it's okay to fail. That's where the real learning happens. So after all the drills, all the skills, all the strategies, we get to the final point. We get to the real scoreboard. It's about totally redefining what it means to win.
Think about it. When it's all said and done, after the last game is played and the season's over, what is a coach's true legacy? Is it the trophies in the case? The win-loss record?
No way! The real legacy is the person you helped build. It's the resilience they learned after a tough loss, the character they showed as a teammate, and, maybe most importantly, the deep, lifelong love for the game that you helped spark inside them. That is the real win.
And I want to leave you with this powerful thought from the one and only Karch Kierley. Sports teach us that we're all going to fail. It's just part of the deal. But it's not the falling short that defines us. It's how we use those moments to come back even stronger. And teaching that lesson, well, that's the greatest play any coach can ever make.